Knowledge and Decisions is a seminal work by economist and social theorist Thomas Sowell that provides a comprehensive analysis of the processes by which decisions are made in various contexts and the consequential impact of those decisions on societies. In the book, Sowell examines the interplay between knowledge and decision-making, emphasizing the limitations of individual knowledge and the systemic implications of decisions made under conditions of dispersed or fragmented information. Sowell begins by distinguishing between two fundamentally different types of knowledge, specific and general. Specific knowledge is particular and detailed, often held by individuals directly involved in various processes or localized events. In contrast, general knowledge is more abstract and widely distributed across members of society. Decision-making processes need to accommodate both types of knowledge, but the transition from knowledge to effective decisions is fraught with challenges due to the complexity and limitations of understanding all of the relevant factors and variables. The book then moves to discuss the concept of articulated and inarticulate knowledge. Articulated knowledge can be verbalized and communicated between individuals, which allows for coordination and teaching. Inarticulate knowledge, on the other hand, includes intuitions, instincts, or skills that one cannot easily express in words or teach to another person. Such knowledge may be essential in decision-making, but more challenging to transmit through society or formalize in organizations and systems. Sowell delves into how decisions are made in various social institutions, including the market, polity, and other intermediary institutions. He argues that markets efficiently aggregate dispersed knowledge through price signals. Prices communicate information to individuals and groups and incentivize them to act according to their own interests in ways that often align with social welfare. In markets, decisions are made individually, yet coordinate through voluntary exchanges to reflect a wide array of knowledge and preferences. In a political context, Sowell posits that decision-making is inevitably centralized and often less efficient than in markets because of the limited specific knowledge available to policymakers. Political decisions are constrained by the knowledge of officials and the bureaucratic structure through which these decisions are made and implemented. Furthermore, the political process is driven not by the exchange for mutual gain, but by the imposition of decisions upon many people, which can lead to outcomes that do not align with the interests or knowledge of those affected. Throughout the book, Sowell stresses the importance of institutional processes in shaping how decisions are made and how knowledge is utilized. He presents a critical analysis of legal, cultural, and social institutions, showing how their structural characteristics affect the aggregation of knowledge and the appropriateness of decisions. For instance, legal systems that are precedent-based have different implications for knowledge and decisions than legal systems based on codified legislative rules. The book also puts forth a detailed critique of the role of experts and intellectuals in shaping public policy. Sowell is skeptical about the abilities of experts to possess sufficient knowledge and to make superior decisions, especially when they are detached from the direct consequences of their recommendations. He points to the hubris of intellectuals who presume to know more than the accumulated wisdom embedded in social traditions and the judgments of individuals who face the actual trade-offs in their own lives. One of the significant themes of knowledge and decisions is the trade-off between process and results. Sowell states that placing emphasis on either processes or results can radically change the principles and outcomes of a decision-making body. He argues that when results become the primary focus without regard to the processes that yield those results, there may be an overestimation of what decision-makers can achieve given the constraints of knowledge and a tendency toward increasing government intervention. Sowell also examines the repercussions of risk-taking decisions, emphasizing that the ability to bear risks often varies across individuals and organizations. Decisions and actions are taken under uncertainty due to the limitation of knowledge. Hence, who makes the decision and who bears the consequences is crucial. The separation of knowledge and risk, often found in political contexts, distorts decision-making and leads to systemic inefficiencies or unintended consequences. In his critique of the regulatory state, Sowell argues that regulations often arise out of the belief that centralized authorities can make better decisions than the decentralized knowledge and actions within markets. He suggests that regulations and government interventions often create rigidity and stifle the dynamic use of knowledge in society by reducing the role of individual decision-making and the market's price mechanism. Sowell analyzes the role of feedback mechanisms in refining decisions. He notes that in the market, feedback is immediate and directly tied to the decision maker itself, such as profit and loss, which encourages learning and adaptation. In politics, feedback mechanisms are weaker and less direct, leading to slower adaptation and less accountability. The disconnect between decisions and observable outcomes can perpetuate poor decision-making and policy inertia. In the final sections, Sowell explores the cultural impact on knowledge and decision-making, highlighting how different cultural values and norms shape the acquisition and use of knowledge, as well as the acceptance of decision-making authorities and institutions. He considers the implications of cultural differences for economic development and the transferability of successful policies across different societies. Knowledge and Decisions is a comprehensive and multifaceted analysis of how decisions are made and the complex relationship between knowledge and social processes. Sowell contends that respecting the decentralized nature of knowledge and maintaining institutional frameworks that appropriately harness this knowledge are vital for effective decision-making and social progress. He argues for the wisdom of institutional processes that evolve over time, incorporating dispersed knowledge and allowing individuals to make their own decisions, rather than relying excessively on centralized decision-making by presumed experts or authorities.